What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I'm waking up legendary just as we speak, making my either second or third coffee of the day. So I'm feeling really good about that. And I'm feeling great about our guest this morning. She is somebody who I was able to listen into briefly her little conversation that she was having with Joanne, our marketing manager here at our company, and I'm really excited to hear about her journey. And some of the things that you're going to notice about our community here is the fact that we have people from all different walks of life. And so this morning, you're going to hear from a 30-year education veteran, somebody who worked in the education industry, and we can hear what she thinks about what we're up to. So yes, please help me welcome, and Joanne, help me with the tech on the backside. Help me welcome Kim to the show. Kim, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. Thank you. How are you?
Hey, you're so welcome, and I'm fantastic. As I said, on my second or third cup of coffee this morning. Went and saw Kevin Hart last night. Took a
Awesome.
friend and saw Kevin Hart. So I actually got out of the house and did like a normal human activity instead of just staying isolated, like we've been trained to do. Gotta break free from those societal norms. But anyways, how are you?
I'm doing great today. I'm on my, actually had 2 cups of coffee myself, and now I'm trying to drink some water so I can hydrate a little bit.
Yeah, are you a coffee drinker all throughout the day?
No, no, I have 2 cups in the morning and then that's it. That's otherwise I'm just like, pull me down off the ceiling because I just, it just interferes with everything. But yeah, I
Does it
have to have
really?
it in the morning. Have to.
Yeah. Well, I like to periodically drink it throughout the day, and I would say that I probably have a little bit of an unhealthy relationship with caffeine right now. But hey, what are you gonna do? You can't be free. You can't be perfect in everything that you do in life. I can't be
Gotta have
perfect.
some vice,
That's
right?
that's my joke. I'm not perfect in everywhere else, but I try. So you're a 30-year education vet. Tell us what you did before you started, or what you're still doing. Tell us your legendary story and a brief history of who you were before you started this.
Well, like you said, I've been in education for 30 years. I was a classroom teacher. I taught art and technology, and then just kind of went into other areas. So I wore a lot of hats in education. I still work in education, but
Mhm.
I'm kind of burned out. And in 2020, I ended up losing my job for about, I don't know, it wasn't very long, but it was about 6 weeks. And that really gave me a wake up call because I thought my job was super secure. And I've been with the same place for 10 years, 11 now. And when that happened, and I was laid off for being non essential as well. And that that
Just a
was,
spit in the face, right?
that was a real message to me. So in 2021, I decided that, okay, this could be taken away at any moment. I have a family to support. So I started looking around for something to do, and I figured it's going to, probably be an online job because I can't, take on another, full or part-time job. So I thought, starting a business would be perfect. Didn't know what I was going to do. And then my daughter got me on TikTok. She put the app on my phone and said, "Mom, you gotta see this." And she was already doing TikToks. So I started watching, and one thing led to another. And one day I started to hear, oh, affiliate marketing. I'm like, what is that? I had never heard of it before. I had done, like, years ago, I was in a multi-level marketing company, and that really, like, that wasn't for me. So I thought, I hope that's not what this is. But I kept going back, and people were saying, that they were having great results. So I saved Stacy Law. I saved her video and kept going back to it, and finally decided, okay, well, it's only $7. If it's not a great, if it doesn't, if it's not good, then I've only spent $7. So went through the course, and as an educator, I can tell you that I was absolutely blown away. I know good curriculum. I know when it's engaging. I know when, when there's value there. And I mean, I came into it not knowing anything, right? I knew nothing about affiliate marketing or marketing in general. I had never done sales or anything. So I did not know. I was a complete newbie. But I learned enough by the end of the challenge that that I felt like, okay, I think I can do this. And then invested in additional education and went through the blueprints, and then started putting everything together. And I think I started promoting in June of 2021, and the rest is history. So I can't.
Yeah, I had myself muted
Oh,
just because
okay.
I was, still trying to learn all this stuff. Um,
Technology.
but it is. I mean, isn't that just a great example? Every day, I just hope to be a shining example of how imperfect this needs to be. It just needs to be imperfect. It needs to be imperfect, actually. It can't be perfect. Not only does that not exist, but it couldn't be. It'd look weird. Um, but congrats on that. How does that feel to be an educator or in the education space for as long as you have been?
Mhm.
And now to be taking part in, um, you know, a whole new type of education
Mhm.
economy. And what is that like? How do you describe what's happening right now?
Well, so we say in education that skills should be transferable, right? So my skills in education were 100% transferable, as were my technology skills. I feel it was a natural fit, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. This gets me excited. This gets me out of bed in the morning. I cannot wait to do this business. I do it before I start working. I'm fortunate because I can work from home most days. So I'll get up an hour earlier and I'll work. And then the minute my day is done, I'm back at it.
Hmm.
And every day I'm, doing something new, and I've, learning something new. So I'm 62, and
Hmm.
being able to learn something new, and then they say it keeps your brain sharp and all that. Yeah, that's been awesome. And not only that, we've been successful. So, putting that on top of, learning new skills and being able to transfer everything is just, yeah, I can't, I'm just amazed because, having this experience now. And I plan on doing this for a long time. So right now I am putting everything in place so I can retire. Because I wasn't close to retirement. I felt like I had another 5 years. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, when can you retire? I would have said, I have no idea. Not even close.
Well, I brought this up, I think 2 days ago, your fire number, which is a formula that some folks use to determine what their retirement number is, and
Mhm,
that's whatever your annual expenses will be in your retirement. Uh, Having 25 years of that
mhm.
saved up and for example, some sort of an interest earning account and so an investment account in index funds or something, right? And so if you can live on, that's one number, and that's what the traditional kind of, I guess, American has been taught because and it's still legitimate, it's valid.
Right,
But
right.
what's different about our industry, what's different about what we do is that for a lot of us, when we fire our boss and we quit having to leave the house to go and work, it all of a sudden it's almost semi-retirement at home. I mean, one could consider me being retired or semi-retired
Mhm,
because of my lifestyle. I in this Actually, in both of the homes that I live in, our office home and our main home,
mhm.
there's retired individuals that live all around the my home in my neighborhoods.
'Cause you're in
And
Florida.
I'm in Florida,
Yeah.
and I'm here every day too. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right?
kind of scratching my head going, what is really actually different about, and so do you consider, here's my question, if you
Mhm.
can get full, like when you say retire, I want you to, how are you defining retirement now with this new business as a as a thing that you have working for you?
That's a great question. So when I say retire, I mean retiring from my 9 to 5, retiring from the job that I've been doing for the last 30 years and
Hmm.
now starting a whole new business because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always felt that there was an inner entrepreneur in me.
Yeah.
But now being able to take that and do that full time, it's also going to allow me to do other things. So before I became an educator, I was an artist. And I'm still an artist.
Sure.
And so this is going to give me a chance to be able to do that as well. So having, the means to be able to do that in at the level that I've always wanted to. Um, so that's going to allow me to have that more of that time freedom to pursue what I want to pursue and
Yeah.
travel and do other things. But the beauty of doing this business is that you do have that. And so right now I'm putting in 12-hour days every day. Um, but that's okay because I know what's coming. I know what the end result is going to be, and I can't wait. I
Yeah.
just, it's very exciting.
Well, the end result is you having the ability to earn income independently and
Mhm,
from the internet and not have to rely on your job that you're employed currently for income. Would that be fair to say that that's kind of the new definition of retirement in a sense, is cutting ties with whatever the kind of job that we had or that we have to go to and and it's almost like becoming an entrepreneur in working from home or working virtually, and
mhm.
especially if you're doing it for yourself, has become the new retirement in a way.
I think that's true. I think that's true. When you look at the statistics right now, that 54% of, especially women, who are near retirement age, don't plan on retiring 100%. They plan on
Mm,
continuing to work, and
yeah,
in many cases are starting their own businesses, and that's
interesting
exciting.
statistic.
And you know, I'm a coach, and most of my clients are same age as I am, um, and they all have the same goal as well. They want to retire from their 9 to 5s, but they also want to have this viable business that's going to sustain them into retirement and give them the kind of lifestyle that they want. We don't want to
Yeah.
just sit on the couch. We just don't want to sit there watching Netflix and not doing anything else.
One of the comedians last night said I went to the Kevin Hart comedy show, in case I didn't mention that. I'm sure I did, but still waking up legendary here. He was like, "Yeah, I watch Netflix." That was the joke. Like he watched all of Netflix, you know. And it's true. I mean, gosh, what is there for us to do, especially if what happened in 2020 and we're all now locked in? I feel so bad for people who kind of like my grandfather. He had the same misfortune, but he passed away right at retirement age.
Mm,
And think about all the people who were affected by what happened or maybe even passed away in the past couple of years and
mhm,
had worked their whole life, and this happens all the time, but
sure.
I just think about what happened, how, you know, this most recent big earth changing event, and I'm just not saying certain keywords because I don't know if videos get flagged on, and I don't want warnings put down below the videos, so I can just not use those specific words. But that really changed so many of our lives. How did that impact you? How did what we went through with the global event that happened, how did that impact you? And what do you know now? How is your outlook different now? And maybe how is there more urgency around it than there was before everything happened?
Oh, great question. So, because I was laid off during the pandemic, because of that, and I could see it coming. Like in January of 2020, I remember saying to a friend of mine, "Is like." I don't like this. This is not good. This is going to change us. This is going to change the world. And that was in January 2021. And sure enough, it did. And, being laid off and then, then transitioning back to work and now, being home because that's new.
Right.
I mean, I've been working remotely now for 2 years, which that would have never happened before. In fact, I had actually put in for just working from home one day a week and was denied.
Wow.
Before I was able, and now it's like I work from home most of the time. So that changed, and I've been very, very fortunate that no one in my family nor I have had COVID, which everyone, pretty much everyone I know has had it.
Yeah.
And it's gone through my entire office, and I also tutor students at the local community college in writing, and have been doing that for 3 years. And pretty much everybody there has had it too at the community college. So I've been very fortunate, and I'm grateful every single day that I wake up healthy, and that's so it hasn't impacted me, I don't think, as much as it has other people. But then again, yet, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So,
Well, has it affected you mentally? Because you mentioned earlier in the show that were deemed non-essential by
exactly.
your employee. And
Mhm.
so, the reason why I'm asking this question is because now we're settling back into a little bit more of normal life, even though maybe we're on the verge of a recession. There's always something looming. Um, by the way, I just want to tell everybody, in all the years of me doing this business and being in this industry, not a single economic event has negatively impacted my business.
Mhm.
Meaning that the only thing that's impacted my business is my output. And the reason why that is because the internet has always, or at least for the past 10 to 12 years, been where people have gone for their solutions that
Mhm.
happen in the real world. So, for example, even in this last situation that happened, everybody went online because they were stuck at home. So the internet became the solution to everybody's problem. It
Mhm.
was a solution for their entertainment. It was a solution for their medical needs. It was because they did online appointments, virtual appointments. It was a solution for their learning and their
Right.
educational needs. And we were even primed perfectly, all of our children, to Zoom and all this other stuff. So far, I mean, obviously, the world is seeing some of the places where social media can and the internet can negatively impact our
Mhm.
children, for example, right? And it can negatively impact us the same way, our self esteem, if we're not careful, if we just use it to compare. But for the most
Yeah.
part, this industry and this business has always flourished through any sort of economic event in any sort of different market. And this specific business model has flourished because it's completely independent of any supply chain or
Mhm.
manufacturing process. And so it's flourished even more so. And it's one of the reasons why we're and was it luck? I mean, no, it was just what I've always done. But when we went through this most recent event and all the e-com guys and all the people who were selling physical products on the internet could no longer do that business, but the information and the courses, coaching, events, and affiliate model continued
Mhm.
to flourish. I was like, whoo, look at this. I mean, this is
You're
a
in the right
place.
place.
I'm in the right place,
Yep,
and part of
absolutely.
it, people say you're lucky, right? Well, am I? Preparation just met opportunity.
Yep.
Preparation simply met opportunity. And so we never know when our time is going to come, but it's so great to be in position to capitalize. And so, now that you're in the internet business,
Yeah.
you have you have a business that is operational on the World Wide Web. It's an e-com company.
From anywhere.
How much more, you talked about feeling scared and unsure and lacking confidence and probably lacking also team spirit after you were deemed non-essential. But how is your
Oh, yeah.
spirit and how are you feeling in terms of this business and the fact that, like, do you feel more empowered? And here's why I'm
Oh,
asking this
yes.
is because there's a lot of people who don't know what it's going to be like when they start the business. They've not done it before, or they're negotiating with themselves right now. So would you talk to us a little bit about how you feel now compared to how you felt like when you signed up and when you got started? How would you describe a little bit of that unsureness and that lack of confidence, or some of the things that were coming up inside of you, some of those limiting beliefs? And then let us know how you feel now with those same pieces that were problematic maybe for you when you got started.
Wow. So I was just thinking about this morning. So I have been like I said before, I've been working at the same job for a long time. And so just to give you some context, I have tried to advance in that space, and I've never been allowed to. And it's, I mean, for various reasons. I'm not, saying it's anybody's fault but my own. Um, but I wanted to move into leadership and was never able to.
Yeah.
And since I've been doing this business, when I first got started, I wasn't sure like where that was going to take me or where any of this was going to take me. But I've discovered this leadership potential, this leadership quality that I did not know I had. And so it has, in that aspect, it has changed everything. Plus, I've met so many wonderful people through this business. I mean, I feel like I have friends now that I'm closer to than in real life, um, which is crazy. But the people that I've met through Legendary and through also doing this business, I mean, I know people from all over the world now.
Yeah.
And I've met people from all different walks of life and all different occupations and all different, um, just amazing. That aspect of it.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I I did not have. I mean, the internet has broken down barriers, has broken down boundaries,
yeah.
and in that sense, I think has changed all of us to the point where we've, it's just fluid. We don't have, we don't have those restrictions anymore because, and there are downsides to that as well, obviously. But in terms of business,
Not a lot.
no, no. In fact, if anything, it has improved it dramatically.
I mean, I want to point out a couple of specific things that you said right there. You said a couple of very powerful things, but I just want to say that, I mean, I think a lot of us realize that we like people a lot less than we thought we did, or at least the ones that we had to be around every day. It was like we get away from those and our life expectancy goes up 20 years, for God's sakes. At least that's how we feel. But man, you said a couple of really important, powerful things right there. One of them was how you took responsibility for you not moving forward in that company. I just wanted to point that out because you then went on to say, I discovered a leadership quality inside myself I didn't know I had. Well, you just demonstrated exactly what that leadership looks like. And I want to point that out for everybody because I started the Decade in a Day this morning. And I said the number one thing that's going to determine whether you're successful is how you take responsibility or blame others for what's happening inside of your business, period. And I gave the example about my marriage. I said, I used to think that the problem was my wife in my marriage, and it wasn't. The problem was me. I mean, my wife's growing at her own rate, and she's always proven to improve and make changes and grow. And I needed to just more focus on myself and where I needed to grow and stop pointing the finger, because when you point the finger out, you got 3 pointing back at yourself.
That's right.
And that very
I've
line,
never heard that before. I love it.
that very line that you said, which was, I take responsibility for that. I don't blame anybody for that. That attitude, Kim, and everybody listening, is the most important step that a human being will ever make in their entire life, with their business, their marriage, their children, everything. That one that that one leadership quality, that one wonderful, beautiful human characteristic of humility and personal responsibility. Humility meaning that I'm not right about everything.
No.
I got a lot to learn. I can learn a lot. I am wrong a lot. I need to grow. I need to change, right? It's, because we're all, who wants change? The politician asks. Me. Dave Sharpe comes in the room. Who wants to change?
There you go. Yeah.
And it's difficult because we all want change, but we don't want to change. And so I just hear a beautiful leadership quality that you you demonstrated and then you talked about. And so could you say more about how you have realized that you had this inner leader quality about yourself that you did not know you had? And the reason why I'm asking about this is because I've said this a lot. You will discover in this process, in entrepreneurship, in going through a leader, a potential inside of yourself that you did not know that you had. And you just said that. Could you give us some examples, and maybe you could tie it into kind of your routine, or like what a day looks like for you? Like how did you discover that you have this leadership quality inside of yourself that you didn't know you had you said you were 62, you've already had a full career. Could
Yeah.
you help us to understand how we too can discover this awesome, badass leader inside of ourselves that we did not know was there?
Wow. Well, I'm gonna just take it back to, and I've told people this before, and I've mentioned it on my lives, and this is 100% the truth. When I went through the 15-day challenge, one of the things that, because it was great training, but one of the things that I experienced personally was a confidence that I didn't know, again, didn't have before. I can do this. This is, even though I'm learning new things and I don't know anything about this, I can do this. And when I went through that, suddenly I had this confidence. Well, I started being, working in the affiliate space. But then I planned on, continuing to do that. But then I signed up for a coaching program with one of the most amazing humans that I've met in this last year and a half, and that was Barb McGowan. And she inspired me to bring that leadership quality out, because I was still thinking, back at the non-essential thing, like, who, me?
Right.
Me?
Yeah.
No. And she helped me to believe that was possible.
Well,
And
what could you tell people right now? How could you summarize how that happened? Could you describe that yourself now? Because the quality that's going to take your leadership to the next level is for you to be able to describe your transformation and put it into simple terms for others. So what could others do to inspire confidence in themselves?
I think it's all about being willing to open your mind to the fact that you have a greater potential than you're aware of. And if you try this, if you let go of your limiting beliefs and your insecurities and your fears about your potential, because I think people do cling to their fears and insecurities more than they do wanting to change. Like you just said, that who wants to change? Not me. But the truth is that we don't grow unless we embrace being uncomfortable and letting go of those fears and insecurities. You're still going to be afraid, but that's okay. Just lean into it. And, that's when you discover who you really are, and what your potential is. We can do anything we want. Honestly, I mean, you want to make $1 million, you can do it. I mean, if you want to run a marathon, I've ran 2 half marathons. Never thought I would be able to do that. You know,
Powerful.
so that is, I think we all have that potential to do that. But the leadership thing that was a surprise to me.
Yeah. Well,
And I've had people say to me, you know, that you're a leader, and I'm like, you know, oh, really? You know, I'm looking over my shoulder, like who are
yeah.
you talking to?
And anybody can become a leader. I think there's also what you are selling to somebody in any consulting, coaching, or any sort of how-to service, whether you're doing that via coaching, in a course or at an event, what you're selling really is leadership. And that's one of the things that we have to understand about the information or education space is that if you think back to your school, your education history back in elementary school or high school or whatever, what was the teacher, what was your favorite teacher? And if you start to think about who your favorite teacher was, it wasn't the teacher that was unsure of themselves and kind of walked quietly and didn't want to make any noise, or it was the teacher that made you feel confident, that made you forget about time and just learn in the moment. You were having fun. That is confidence, And so for me, one of the things that has helped my confidence is stopping believing everybody around me and all their disempowering, limiting beliefs. I used to really go and I used to really I used to really think that a lot of people had things figured out that I didn't have figured out. And what I realized was they were figuring shit out as they were going, just like I am. And that I didn't need to put anybody up on a pedestal. And that gave me confidence. One of the things that gave me confidence was going to events and seeing other people that I was putting on a pedestal up on the internet. And I was thinking that they were somehow robotic or
Superhuman.
Superhuman. And then I met them and I shook their hand and they, holy crap, this is a regular human being just like I am, and that's when I realized that success is in here. It's not about, it's just about what I do. And I'm telling you, on the internet, it's deceiving because we put people up on a pedestal and we're watching them on screens in our we've always idolized people who are on our screens.
Right.
And so we look at ourselves and our reality here at home and we compare it to what we see somebody else doing on a screen, which is just a little snapshot of their life. Like when I hold up this phone, you're not seeing the big picture. Even right now, you're only seeing a small square of my background. You're not seeing my whole life. And so those are some of the things that boosted my confidence, was actually also sticking around in the business and in the industry long enough to see people that I idolize make mistakes or be human. And that gave me permission to make mistakes and be human. If I only am looking at the highlight reel, meaning that if one of you is new and you just hop on to a Wake Up Legendary show or two and you're like, wow, that Dave's good at that, or he seems like he's been doing, and it's like, but just stick around and you'll see me do something stupid. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah.
You'll see me do something stupid, or I'll say something will slip, whatever. I'll make an ass of myself. Just, you stick around long enough to just see it all the way through, see the full picture instead of just a snapshot. And when you do, for me, that's kind of humanized the process, and that's given me more confidence. Another thing that's really helped me is getting clear, speaking clear, in striving for clarity instead of complexity. We always want to complicate our marketing, our funnels, our message, our content, but really we need to be striving for clarity. Is this clear?
I love that.
Is this clear? When somebody watches a 15-second video, when somebody lands on my landing page, are they clear about what I'm saying and what I want them to do, or what they're going to get out of it? Am I being clear about, here's everything that you're getting if you put your email in? Is that plainly and clearly stated on my page. And that helped boost my confidence. Why? Because that got more results. And so now all of a sudden I started in one of the final things, which is a great segue into the final thing that boosted my confidence, was the fact that I started making money and other people started to believe in me. And that was one of the final things that boosted my confidence, because like I heard Jay Leno say one time, he's always told people, if you want to be successful in business, don't worry about believing in yourself. Worry about getting other people to believe in you and your product. And if you worry about that, then your belief will build in yourself, because the world will tell you that what you're now doing is a valuable contribution. So do any one of those things stand out or resonate with you more than the other, about an experience that you had maybe with earning your first commission, or how that boosted your confidence, or anything else that I just listed out as far as those confidence boosters in my journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, almost everything that you said, I was, my mind was going to, as I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how it felt. So the confidence, definitely. And so I want to kind of back up. You talked about comparing yourself.
Yes.
I think that's, I call it comparisonitis. It's like
Me too.
we compare ourselves to everyone, and we see ourselves as lacking. And the truth is, like you just said, everybody's human. So you're human. You have human flaws. You have human traits, and you need to give yourself grace and forgive yourself. One of the things that I try to instill in my the people that I work with, my clients, is that the first thing we do is we do a limiting beliefs exercise, and we try to dispel that. And I don't want to hear people saying, I'm stupid, or I failed at this, or anything like that, because the truth is that you don't fail at anything unless you quit. And then that's when and I think that's a self-perpetuating prophecy, is that you quit, and then that fuels your belief that you just can't do something. So I quit at one thing in my life, and I regret it, but I quit it for the right reasons. I quit my graduate program when I was in graduate school. But I did it for the right reasons. I did it for my family, but that held me back in a lot of ways, because I didn't finish that.
Yeah.
So when I started this business, I said, you're doing this, and you are not going to quit. You are not going to stop. You are going to do this. You're going to see this out. You're going to give yourself a year. If nothing happens after that year, well, then you can pivot. And fortunately, it's all worked out great. The other thing that you said, it made me think about being able to laugh at yourself. And I've always said that if you can laugh at yourself, there's a lot of good material there, that endless. And so just getting on TikTok, showing your face, showing that you're vulnerable, showing that you are okay with putting all your dirty laundry right out there, making your mess your message. To me, that was also a big part of building that confidence in myself. And and now I love it. I mean, it's exciting. It's, I just absolutely love creating content now. And I would have never done that. I mean, I didn't want to show my face. My first few videos were me not showing my face. And then I just said, okay, well, that's silly. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. And so, yeah. And so that's been great too.
Yeah. Yeah. That is some wise words. And there are certain things that you fail or you lose, competitions, races, things like that. But folks, this ain't a race. And that's why the only way to fail really is to quit. And I do know people who have done this for significant periods of time and finally had a breakthrough. And it's like, That's not something you can say with a lot of things. It's like, with a job, if you can't say that with a job, you just can't say it with a
Right.
job, but with a business, you can say it. There's businesses that it's kind of like, like an investment. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you really only lose if you sell it for a loss. But if you hold it and it comes back up, you didn't lose. You actually were smart by not being emotionally kind of reactive to the
Right.
market, right?
Mhm.
So your business is the same way. You only lose when you sell or quit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so as long as you don't quit, you have a chance for that business, like a great stock, as long as you're going into a business that you know is a good business. And this is a good business. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
This is not even something that I invented or that I mean, this is something that's worldwide. It's something that is the rest of the world is now catching on to and
Right.
realizing. Quite frankly, it's funny because the rest of the world is now and everybody's starting to be a lot more open about the fact that it's pretty realistic for an individual to even get ahead nowadays without a side hustle. I
Mhm.
mean, especially if we actually are going into a recession and gas prices and groceries and everyday commodities have already been higher. And so it's just it's to the point to where now mainstream media is really, I'm seeing it on Netflix. I'm seeing it on other, it's becoming a part of the mainstream conversation to have us there. We're calling it a side hustle because a second job is no longer something that people are, they know they don't have to go get a second job. You can have a second job, but there's other options now. And
Mhm.
here's the point that I'm making is that for a long time, and I want you to think about how times were different. I was listening to a Holocaust survivor talk the other day, and they were talking about how, as the Nazis were going from city to city, that people were telling them that it was happening, but they did not believe them.
Mhm.
And that was 70 year what was that, 1950? When exactly did that happen? Maybe somebody could drop it in the comments, but it was
The
roughly
30s.
70,
Yeah.
what,
30s
30?
and 40s, late
30?
30s, early 40s. Mhm.
Okay. So it's 80 years ago.
Mhm.
My friends, the difference, the advantage that we have now today is that we have the internet. You have you have so much more information at your fingertips. And not only do you know, are we safer because we're safer. We don't have to just rely on what somebody's telling us in our local city or school. Another example that's not as extreme as the one that I just gave would be how when we're growing up and we grow up in a town or a city or a school and they say, well, what college are you going to? As if that's the only option.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
They make it seem, or they've always made it seem, and maybe there has been less options up until that point. But now, kids in high school, when somebody says, "What college are you going to?" They got a lot more options. They
They
know
do.
a lot more things. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be influencers. They want to be affiliate marketers. They want to have
Mhm.
side hustles. They want to travel and work remotely. There are a lot times are different. Not only are we safer because we have more visibility into the world and we can make decisions. You all can look on the internet and see where the economy is going. You can see that Amazon's growing. You can see that people are shopping on. You don't have to rely on somebody to tell you that something's coming and just decide. And that to me, it makes me feel like I have a gift that I don't want to waste, because look at how much opportunity that we have today compared to previous generations
Yeah,
and
yeah.
people in the past. And so as we wrap up today, that's my kind of like plea to people is like, look at the difference in the opportunity that we have compared to people in past, or maybe even that you thought you had before you found Legendary and started listening to these conversations. What thought do you want to leave folks with this morning to ponder over the weekend?
So the fact that we have all these opportunities, not just myself, but my daughters are 19. So I have twin daughters, and they graduated from high school last year. And they both took a gap year because that last year was, because the pandemic was really hard on them. But neither of them are like, they both have said, look, we want to travel, we want to work, we want to, experience things. We're gonna do this. We're taking our time. My daughter's taking classes at the local community college, but neither of them wanted to go to a 4-year university. And I never wanted to push them in that direction either. If they wanted to go, great. If they didn't want to go, I was never going to push them in that direction, because of the fact that they do have so many other opportunities. And my daughter, one of my daughters, wants to join me in my business. She wants to she wants to help me. And I think that's awesome, because she's seeing that potential, and she's seeing mom doing something different than mom has ever done before, and getting outside of my comfort zone. And and she's seeing, because when I first started doing this, of course, they were like, mom's getting on TikTok. Oh my God. They were so embarrassed to tell their friends. Oh, and now it's like, my mom has 109,000 followers on TikTok. And so, yeah, the opportunities for kids are tremendous. And so I just met an 18-year-old who not only has started her own marketing agency, this is actually her second business that she has had. The first one she started when she was a freshman in high school. Now she's 18. She starts a marketing business that's wildly successful. Her father is a doctor, and he's like, why aren't you going to college? And she says, I don't want to go to college. I don't have to, because I'm doing this. And I'm going to be way more successful at this than I ever could be by going to college. And by the way, I don't want to dissuade anyone from going to college. If that is your path, by all means, go, because you're going to learn a lot. I have 14 years of post-secondary education, way more than anyone should ever have. But every single thing that I've learned, I can take that and apply those to other things. So education, no one can ever take that away from you. I'm a big proponent of education. However, you get education from everywhere. You learn from everything. And the world is your classroom, and if you think about it in those terms, soak it up. Don't shy away from the fact that, you're going to always be able to learn. We have these big brains, right? We're smart monkeys, but, these big brains evolved so that we could have the unlimited potential. So do it. Don't think that because you're in this space, or right now you're in this space, that you don't have the potential to break out of that and to do more, because you always have that option, and you have that potential. Everybody does. No matter where they are in their lives, they always have that potential. And I'm seeing that with people who are in the affiliate marketing business. I'm seeing them, break free of, what they had, because they don't want to live their lives like that anymore. They want to be more than what they ever have been able to. And this business allows them to do that. Yeah. Being, like you said, the internet has changed us all, but has changed us in the sense that, we do have this vast ocean of opportunity now. Mm-hmm. And why not take advantage of it? That's, I guess, what I wanted to leave with everybody. I wanted to tell you, you and I have something in common that I wanted to tell you about, because you talk about your recovery. And I'm so inspired by that, because, I've listened to you talk about it a number of times, and, you changed your life because you wanted to get clean. And I've done the same thing. So I'm a recovering alcoholic. And one of the things that, and I relapsed a few years ago. I mean, I'm being completely transparent here, but I relapsed a few years ago. But when I started to do this business, and I started to see my potential, that was when I decided that I was done with alcohol. and that I was never going to go back to it, that I was never going to reach my full potential until I did that. And so, and talk about how this business has changed me. That's the other thing that happened that, I mean, maybe it would have happened anyway, but it made me make that decision that, I had to make that change in my life. And it's been amazing. It's made all the difference.
Incredible. And thank you for sharing that. That's really what I found is the most inspiring content, if you will, but it's being real with the things that you've gone through, but also learning how to use those in a way that can be tools for you instead of just some dark secret that is something that you feel like is something you have to hide from people. The smartest thing that I ever did was figure out how to take all the shit in my life that I thought, ooh, this is something that I don't want people to know about me. Because that's always our initial kind of thought is, oh, I just hope they don't learn. This is what we've been taught. I mean, this is what we've been taught. It's like,
it's shame.
Put your, it is shame. It's shame. Absolutely. And it's like, hide your shame. But the problem with shame is that it comes out in other ways. You know what I mean? And so the smartest thing that I ever did about my defects and shortcomings and so forth is put them out there and figure out how to tell them in a story that was inspiring. And and what that did was not only help me connect with my audience, it was also therapeutic, and it also took everything that anybody could ever use against me completely off the table.
That's
and
right.
I was free. I was
like,
free
own
to
it.
be me.
Yep. Own it. And then you're free. Yep.
That's it. So wonderful lessons, wonderful words, such a powerful conversation. And I'd love to do it again if you'd be willing in the near future.
I'd love to.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming, and be legendary, stay legendary. And we'll talk to you soon, Kim.
Always. Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Bye. All right, my friends, you can follow her. We've had her handle up here, but we'll put it up again. Affiliate Success Coach Kim. She's on TikTok and Instagram under that handle. And yeah, wow, all walks of life. Never ceases to amaze me. Just how unique we all are, the different walks of life. And this whole thing that's happened the last couple of years has pushed so many of you people into our world that we would have normally never got to meet. Those of you who worked in all these legitimate industries like education and like accounting and law and the medical field, we've had, because of what's happened the last couple of years, so many folks from other industries who had careers in other fields come into this space. And Kim's a fantastic example of that. And I'm just, in a way, obviously what's happened over the last couple of years has been destructive to so many people and families. And for a lot of people, it's given them a whole new outlook and opportunity. And, that's the silver lining, I guess. And so if we have that opportunity, and we all do, man, my prayer today for us is that we seize it and use it and don't lose it, right? Because, man, you got to jump on things when you're excited about them, because that's when you have the motivation. So if you're excited right now, if you see the vision, if you're clear about where you want to go with your life and what you can maybe do with this, just get started and don't stop. And you'll see how things will open up and what things begin to look like for you, right? But you don't know yet. You only know your own struggle, and you only know your current existence. So it's hard to imagine what it will be like. And that's why we're mostly motivated by our pain. But I challenge you all to think about, what will my life look like if, I really feel this same empowerment that Kim described from having that true freedom, or knowing that I'm building towards my retirement and career, and that if I was to lose my job or be deemed non-essential, I would be okay. That sort of inner feeling changes you. And you don't know how it's going to change you until you experience it. And Kim found this whole new set of confidence that she didn't know that she had. I wonder what you'll find. Be legendary. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Peace.